Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I'm gonna be honest, this episode was something else. It was actually really good. I did enjoy this episode. Um, Even giving the one of my minor annoyance in this episode, I'm gonna just take a wild guess what this minor annoyance was, because it was definitely there. But with that being said, it was still good. You know what? Let's talk about the Cassadines, the Windermere, and all the stuff that went on there. So Ava comes into, Ava is calling for Nicholas, and Esme answers. And Ava walks in there, and she is livid. She's livid. So she practically tells Esme to kick rocks, and Esme is like, I'm not going anywhere. Esme is like, I'm not going anywhere. And of course, she shows, the books and they're saying that she might be pregnant. But at this point, Ava's like, yeah, I don't care. I mean, you can still kick rocks. So there, she goes in on him, and she goes in on her. They go back and forth. Meanwhile, you got Spencer that's just giving Nicholas all sorts of attitude. Um, Now, at some point, they start arguing, and it gets loud enough to where Nicholas walks in. Nicholas walks in like he's walking into World War III. They get into it for a little bit, tell the kids to pretty much kind of go in the next room. And at this point, Ava's like, yo, she got to go. She got to go. She got to go right now. I don't care if she's pregnant. She got to go. Um, and of course, she's upset. She's upset with the fact that she's there because she doesn't like her, all the stuff that she's done to her on top of Trina, you know? So Nicholas is not there defending Esme. And I'm going to be honest, so I was watching a video of Brock TV, pretty much just calling the Cassadines a bunch of dumbasses. And they're saying that they get exactly what they deserve for defending this girl. And I'm gonna be honest, I 100% agree with that statement. Um, you know, um, Nicholas is sitting there talking about the danger factor with Sonny and stuff like that, and Ava's like, yeah, I'm the one that told him to go handle that. And here's the thing. Ava's like, listen, if she's pregnant, he's not going to do anything. And if she's not, then, well, she gets exactly what she deserves. But Nicholas is standing firm and pretty much he's like, yo, I already made my mind. You already made up your mind. You didn't even bother to. I feel like that's insulting in itself. When he came out of his mouth and was like, well, I already made up my mind. Oh, okay, because I thought this was a marriage. I thought this was a partnership. I thought kind of ran by, stuff between each other, not you just made up your mind and that's just that. So, Ava gives him a choice. It's either Esme or me. And the fact that he didn't really even say anything, she was like, oh, okay. All right. So she walks out, and, Nicholas just kind of stands firm. And, during this whole time, Spencer's like, yo, you got to take that test. And Esme is doing everything in her power to sit there and stall. Oh, this test is going to change stuff. And, if I'm not pregnant, then you're going to pretty much kick me to the wolves. And, Spencer's like, listen, if you're not pregnant, you're going to stay. And if you're pregnant, you're going to stay. So now that that's out the way, go take the damn test. And she does. She comes back, and I guess, she's going to sit there and tell him maybe in the next episode or the episode after that. Um, so Brad and Britt. Um, Brad comes in there to see Terry about the position, and Terry's like, yeah, I don't really trust you running a lab, and I don't really trust you at all. I don't trust you to be what you're asking to be, and I think that you'd be much suited for being an orderly. And Brad is like, Yeah, I was just talking to Brit. You know what? Then he tries to plead his case. Apparently, it does not go well. And so he's outside. I don't know, maybe he wants to sit there and try to, see if he can change her mind or whatever. That annoyance I was sitting there talking about, Amy. I don't like that girl. I don't like her. I didn't like her since day one, since I saw her, and I don't like her now. The only time that I felt like she was actually tolerable was during a storyline, which I know a lot of people didn't like, the whole Ass Manlander thing. That was the only time that she was actually tolerable. Because when she comes in there, and I cannot believe I'm sitting there saying this. Oh, you can tell when a character really annoys me when I gotta sit there and defend Brad. When I gotta defend Brad, I think that kind of goes without saying. So she comes in there and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing here? You're sitting there trying to sneak, or you're trying to scheme, and this, that, and the third." And she's all like, "Security," and I'm like, "So we're choosing to act like a Karen now? Awesome." You didn't even sit there and give him 5 seconds to try to explain what he was doing there. And when Terry comes in, Terry's like, "Yo, what is going on?" So at this point, Brad's like, "Listen, thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully I can sit there and work with you." He leaves, and Amy acts like a 12-year-old little girl. And it's like, "Oh, what is he doing there? This, that, and the third." And Terry's like, "Listen, I'm in charge of hiring people. Like, that's my job." And of course, Amy's like, "Well, you haven't been there that long. You didn't sit there and know what he did, and yada, yada, yada." And my whole thing was like, "Sweetheart, you're a grown ass adult. Okay? You could have handled this in a much more better way than walking up to her and acting like some 12-year-old girl that's not getting what she wanted." And instead of telling her, here's the thing. Amy was not there trying to tell Terry how to do her job. And, Terry's like, "Listen, what you did was unprofessional." She actually, I don't know, she sighed or she pouted or something, because to be honest, whenever she starts talking after a while, it, I think it's like my body just kind of shuts down from listening to whatever crap that comes out of her mouth, because she's just that annoying. But pretty much Terry had to sit there and put her in a place like, "Yo, listen, go back to work. Like, I handle my job, you handle yours. So why don't you actually go and do what you're paid to do and not be here? No, 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 no." So finally she walks off and she does her job. When I saw her sitting there with Maxie and Brooklyn, I was like, "Me." Seriously, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to sit there and sit through her scenes." Hmm. I only can imagine the words that are sitting there going through my brain. But she's all excited about the song and everything like that. And they see Chase, and Violet is with Chase. And I'm going to be honest, in this scene, Violet is literally the best character in this whole damn scene. This whole scene was a lot more tolerable because of Violet being in it. And I could not be more happier. Because Violet's like, "Yo, listen, there's Brooklyn. Why don't we go and say hi?" So Brooklyn goes, so Violet goes to say hi to Brooklyn and, ask her about the baby or whatever. Of course, she doesn't really know. Um, Chase like, "Listen, my bad for her. I tried to explain it to her, but I don't think she's really understanding." Yada, yada, yada. And then out of nowhere, the topic of, Chase singing for Deception. And Amy decides to butt in. It's like, "Well, I think you should sit there and sing." This is after Brooklyn's like, "Yo, he said he wasn't going to sing. He doesn't want to sing. I agree." And that ends that. But Amy, being the annoying ass woman that she is, just decides to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, because at this point, why not? Really hate this woman. Okay, hate is kind of a strong word. I'm really annoyed at this woman. Anyway, she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And at some point, I must have probably blacked out or something, but Gregory comes in. So Gregory comes, he talks to Chase, he is pissed off at Brooklyn, and he acts pretty rude to her, not given, not knowing the whole situation. And Chase had to kind of pretty much put Gregory in his place. I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually happy he did that. He put him in his place, made him realize, the whole story, and Gregory did wind up walking up to Brooklyn and apologizing. Now, I'm kind of telling this out of order, but at some point, they talk about the singing between Brooklyn and Chase, and Brooklyn says something along the lines of, "Oh, I know it's not within your image" or something like that. I'm gonna be honest. Even when Chase was like, "Oh, well, when I'm me trying to get reinstated, and I just don't know how that's gonna look," and I'm like, "The hell are you talking about?" But now Chase is all like, "Oh, well, I'm not a professional singer," and blah 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 blah. And I'm gonna be honest, this scene just kind of got a little annoying because they're both saying that they're trying to fight their feelings, and Chase is trying to use every excuse in the book to not saying, and Brooklyn's that they're trying to act like she doesn't care, even though she does. So this whole scene just kind of goes on way too long. But there was one point where Chase wasn't at the yelling at his dad, and Finn and Violet come in, and Violet's like, "Yo, what's going on?" And she's like, "I want to know why is Chase yelling at Grandpa for?" They try to make up some sort of excuse, like, "Well, they were just having a disagreement or whatever." And I think Violet says something along the lines of, "Well, we don't usually yell. We talk with our inside voices." And I'm just sitting there thinking, in my head, as she's sitting there trying to wonder what's going on and be like, why are you yelling for? I'm like, man, I wish Violet was there for the Oscars. That's what I'm gonna sit there and say about that. I wish Violet was there for the Oscars because I'm pretty sure she would have probably calmed that whole thing down. I'm gonna try to promise that is the last time that I sit there and talk about the Oscars. So while Brad and Britt is there talking, Britt is there giving Brad a pep talk. Mrs. Wu sends in one of her bodyguards to, um, to the meeting of, meeting Mrs. Wu. But, Britt didn't know about that. Like, Britt didn't know, like, they were going to be seeing each other. She just thought that, she was going to get a text, not, this dude just walking up like, all right, it's time to go. So, Britt gets to the restaurant, which is totally empty, and Mrs. Wu's like, yeah, I put out the whole restaurant so we could sit there and talk. I'm like, okay, cool, scare tactics. All right, I like it so far. Anyway, they sit down, and at this point, Mrs. Wu makes it very clear we ain't friends. This is not a friendly dinner. This is not a friendly conversation. I'm here to sit there and tell you what to do, and you're here to listen. Mrs. Wu pretty much kind of puts down the law, and I'm gonna be honest. Every time that woman is there, it's just great. It's just great. If anyone can tell at this point, Mrs. Wu is definitely becoming one of my favorite because when she comes in and when she starts talking, that woman means business, and I'm just here for it. I'm just here for it. So anyway, she puts down the law and she pretty much blackmails Brit by sitting there saying that during your time with Faison, I knew what y'all were doing during a certain time period, and I got enough evidence to put you away and put you back in jail. And, Britt's like, well, you're not telling me what it is, so you're either bluffing or you're not. And Moses Wu pretty much like, you want to find out? All right, cool. So you're gonna influence Brad to go on the straight and narrow. You're gonna pull his strings because I pretty much kind of got control of you, and I love that scene. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like Brett, And it does kind of suck that she is being, blackmailed by Mrs. Wu because, her and Brad has this best friendship, even though not a fan of Brad at all, if you can tell at this point. But it does kind of sucks that, Brit is being put in this very, crappy position. But, it's Mrs. Wu's world and that's just how it is. I'll be totally okay if Sunny winds up working for Mrs. Wu at this point because, well, Sunny has been disappointing me lately, and Mrs. Wu don't play that, so I'm happy if that actually turns out. I just want to throw that out there. Now, I'm not too sure. I gotta check on this, but I think the last scene is with Laura and Liz, pretty much just kind of catching each other up on what's been going on with their lives as far as well, Cameron and Josh and Liz and Trina and that whole stuff. And, well, then they start talking about her parents. And, Liz is upset with the fact that, her parents are sitting there talking to Jake. After hearing the whole story about pretty much how her parents practically neglected and is still continuing to neglect Liz because they're out there, saving the world and all this other blah 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 stuff. I understand why she's upset with her parents, but I feel like and maybe this is clearly just me. That's probably not just me, but I feel like it's a bit of an overreaction to the fact that her parents are sitting there talking to Jake. I mean, these aren't total strangers that Jake is just sitting there talking to over the internet. These are family members. So I understand why she's like, oh, well, I don't like the fact that, they're talking to Jake behind my back or whatever. It's like, oh, they are family. They are his grandparents. So I, here's the thing. I get that she has a really crappy relationship with her parents, and shame on them for not, for them not fixing it. But for her to sit there and be that upset, it's like, mm, I don't know. I just don't really feel like it's warranted. Anyway, after that talk, Laura leaves, and apparently she has a dream that some guy is walking up to her, saying, "Don't forget me." She wakes up, and she's like, oh, "Okay, it's just a dream." But then when she turns around, she sees like a note that also, on her cabinet or whatever that, well, not her cabinet, but her furniture, her table. Not gonna lie, I can't remember what that's called. But anyway, she sees a note that says, "Don't forget me." So I'm gonna be honest, that is creepy as hell. The fact that whoever was in her house was there while she was sleeping. That's creepy. That is on some next level stalkerish. Um, I feel like it's not. I feel like it's I forgot Franco's not. I don't think her name isn't Betsy, but it's the other one, the one that was blackmailing. Um, I forgot Franco's other like adopted mother or whatever. Heather Webber. My goodness, I can't believe I can't remember her name, but I feel like it's Heather. I really do. I feel like it's Heather. Um, because that note was written in lipstick. And granted, yeah, it could have still been a man, but I feel like that's more Heather Weber style. I do. So it seems like Esme's plan actually worked. She did sit there and drive a wedge between Nicholas and Ava, and reading, you know, going in my comment section and going just in like on Instagram and stuff like that, everyone kind of feels the same way. A lot of people, I wouldn't say everyone, a lot of people are just like, yo, listen, I hope that Ava leaves Nicholas because of the way that he's been acting. And to be honest, everyone got their way. Everyone got their way. Like there's more to say, but I can't really think of it. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.